the Roe versus Wade and why we need to still keep talking about it, because I hate when men go, I hate when women say all men. It's not all men. I don't prey on women. Oh, really, Jeff? Because I don't really remember you saying anything when your friend Jimmy saw a hot girl across the room at the frat party and said he wanted to plow her with alcohol and then take her upstairs and give her a good time. Yeah, I don't really remember you being much of a feminist last night. We have to say all men until all men stop women, so women can walk down the street at night and not think they're gonna get jumped.
So let me get this straight. I can say that all women are liars and that no woman will tell you the truth ever, because some women decide to make false allegations about men. You see, guys, this is the kind of logic that goes absolutely nowhere, okay? Here we have a woman who, after going on a bad date, decided to go on a rant on TikTok, and she just got absolutely roasted by men in the comments. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's episode, guys, we are going to be covering a TikTok video from this woman right here, where basically she goes out on a date and then she goes on a rant about men because she was bought a drink, and dudes just absolutely roasted her in the comments. But guys, before we jump into today's episode, as always, remember to come and join us over on Locals, okay? Miss Susan Wojcicki doesn't really like this content over here on YouTube, so make sure you join us over on Locals. Locals is free to join, guys, but there's also exclusive content for supporters over there if you are interested. But without further ado, guys, let's just jump in and take a listen to what this woman has to tell us.
A year and a half ago, I went on a date with this guy, and when I got to the bar, he had gone there a few minutes earlier before me. I was just parking my car. Got to the bar and he ordered me a mojito. So sweet of him. And I had told him that I liked mojitos when we had been previously chatting. But when I got there, it had been sitting there for however long he had been there. And so I said to him, you know what, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the mojito. I think I'm gonna have to order a fresh one just because I don't know how long this has been sitting here for and I don't know if it's been tampered with. And he was like, well, what do you mean it's been tampered with? And I just said to him, well, living as a woman in this modern world, you know, I just don't know if the drink has been tampered with or drugged. And, you know, I just would feel better if I just got a new one, but you can have it. And
I mean, you could have just got a new drink without saying any of this and you insinuating that the dude wanted to drug you. You see, guys, yeah, the whole idea about this is like, women will take one bad experience, or they'll go out there and they'll see what's happened to other women, and then they'll just assume that all men are going to do the same thing. Yes, I understand the concern about your drink, but you could have easily have just avoided the situation by just going and getting another one, or quietly disposing of the drink rather than complain about it to the guy and insinuate that he had bad intentions with you.
he got super defensive and he was like, well, you won't think that I drugged it. I would never drug a woman. Men are always more sensitive. Like, I met you 30 seconds ago, sir. Calm down. And I was like, no, I'm not accusing you of drugging my drink. I don't think you've drugged my drink, but I just have to be safe. I'm here all by myself, and I met you 30 seconds ago. Anyway.
I mean, she says that she met him 30 seconds ago, but apparently they had a conversation earlier about what type of drinks she likes, so I'll leave that up to you to decide.
We went on like another date. It didn't go anywhere. He was a douche anyway. And
yeah, so the guy was an a-hole. They ended up going on another date after this one, and for whatever reason, guys, I can't possibly imagine why, but she decides that he's an a-hole and those two are no longer seeing each other. Don't really know why that would possibly be the case. Maybe it's because you insinuated that the dude had an interest in, I don't know, doing nefarious things with you, as quote-unquote all men do, apparently.
this brings me to my point of the Roe versus Wade and why we need to still keep talking about it, because I hate when men go, I hate when women say all men. It's not all men. I don't prey on women. Oh, really, Jeff? Because I don't really remember you saying anything when your friend Jimmy saw a hot girl across the room at the frat party and said he wanted to plow her with alcohol and then take her upstairs and give her a good time.
Yeah, because that's definitely what all men have said to one another. And if you're going to bring into this, like, gendered talk about how people will say, oh man, I'd love to do this or that kind of thing. Guys, girls' locker talk is incredibly bad. The idea that every single man out here is just somehow complicit with another guy who's done something terrible, is just ridiculous to me. And the reason why men will say, hey, I don't like it when you say all men, is because not all men are psychopaths and not all men are evil. I know it's crazy, I know it's hard to understand, but if you label all men as something negative, surprise, men don't really like it. That's like me walking around out here going, you know what, guys, all women are going to try and take you for your assets, right? And when I highlight this, when we talk about marriage and things like this, guys, I will say that not all women are going to take your assets and marry you or screw you over in a relationship, but they have the ability to do so. Okay, the whole idea that everyone is just the same is insane to me. Okay, every dude is a complete a-hole, and if you disagree, then somehow you're part of the problem, and somehow you don't like women. Maybe men just don't like being labeled as all bad.
Yeah, I don't really remember you being much of a feminist last night. We have to say all men until all men stop raping women, stop drugging women, so women can walk down the street at night and not think they're gonna get jumped.
Guys, let me tell you something, okay? I've had a few womanists come over to my videos and they say things like, oh, you know, Taylor, you know, you must get no love from your mother, or you must be a short guy, or you must not be able to get women. Guys, let me tell you something. I am 6'3", and I still understand that I cannot walk through certain places at nighttime as a man. Right? It's called common sense. You do not walk around by your lonesome in the dead of night or go out walking through alleyways while you're out on the town with your girls. Not because you're a woman, not because you're a man, but because it's common sense, and it's called being safe. When dudes are out here saying to their wives, their girlfriends, and their daughters, you know, be safe because there are some crazy people out there, it doesn't mean that all men are crazy. It doesn't mean that all women are crazy. It just means have some common sense and have some wits about you. Like, guys, common sense has been so lost this generation, I don't even know where to begin. Like, if you tell a girl, hey, be careful on a night out, all of a sudden she starts talking about the patriarchy and about how men can walk through the night completely fine. You understand that men I believe men actually have a higher rate of being in danger during nighttime. Like, there's a certain statistic, I can't quite recall it at the moment, but dudes actually face more danger at nighttime than women do. Let's keep going.
Until all men stop policing women's bodies, we need to hold all men accountable.
Okay, so following your logic, I'm just going to call all women liars and all women cheaters because some women lie and some women cheat. Like, man, this is just absolutely amazing to me. And we'll get into the comments in a second here because some guys really put it into words better than I could. But it's just absolutely silly logic.
And I've asked a few of the guys in my life, I've asked a few of my male friends, like, what they think about Roe versus Wade. And you know what? They don't know shit about it. You know why? Because they don't care. Because it doesn't affect them. And we're also in Canada. Maybe if we were like Louisiana or like a red state or something, it would matter. But still, it blows my fucking mind that.
I mean, am I supposed to be butthurt and surprised when women don't necessarily look out and understand men's issues and stories? Like, guys, I remember, right, when we were going through this whole Me Too thing and all the women were posting on Instagram, like all the womanists were saying, hey, men, if you don't post, if you're being silent, then silence is violence and you're picking a side by being quiet, okay? But then when we come around to the Amber Turd trial, where we have legitimate men's issues presenting themselves, guess what? All of those women were quiet. Okay, and this is something that just happens all over. People are not necessarily going to speak on an issue just because you want them to. Okay, I know that's hard for you to understand, but like, not everyone has to speak on everyone, and not everyone has to give a crap. I'm not going to sit here and be butthurt because some girl didn't watch because my female friends didn't watch the Amber Turd trial and complain about it on social media.
This shit is happening in 22. It blows my mind. And it also blows my mind that, like, people don't even seem that surprised or shocked by it. So until all men stop supporting anti-abortion laws, stop policing women's bodies, and just respect women as actual human beings.
Okay, so why don't we talk about legislating male bodies then? Okay, how about men having to be drafted and go out and fight wars? You guys understand that in the certain countries, I don't really want to say words out loud here, guys. Yeah, I'll have to dance around because Susan is always watching. But you understand that when a country comes under fire and war begins, it's not the women who stay behind. Okay, it's not the elderly who stay behind. Guess who stays behind to defend the country with their bodies, and they are forced to do so through conscription, through draft. It is the men that have to stay behind. Guess who has to pay for, you know, a woman deciding to keep the child? A man has to pay. Okay, so it's all well and good to say, oh, well, here's what we want, our bodily autonomy. But men don't have bodily autonomy either. We have to fight in wars that we didn't necessarily start or have an interest in defending. Okay, we don't have a say in whether or not we get to pay, you know, alimony or child support or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, get in line.
We have to assume that all men are not on our side. Happy Friday! Year and a half.
Yeah, because what better way, guys, to come to a logical conclusion than just to assume that everybody is against you? When I make these videos, guys, and we talk about marriage and stuff like that, I don't assume that every woman is against a man in a marriage. My concern is just that every woman can be against a man, and every woman can take half of a dude's crap or all of it, or take the children, or whatever the case may be. My concern is with the legislature. But this whole idea that, oh, everybody is just bad and men are against us, especially when a lot of dudes actually care very deeply about women, is something that is quite insane to me. But guys, speaking of insane, let's jump into this next TikTok here. And, you know, just to kind of drive the point home, this is the exact same woman. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm a little bit tired at the moment, so my points are a little bit off here. But I think I don't really need the best of points when I can just play you guys a video like this to show what kind of individual we are dealing with. And then we'll jump into the dude's comments where she got roasted.
I've been telling everyone that I'm famous. I was at work and I was telling all of my coworkers I'm famous. For example, my coworker was in the break room and she was downloading this podcast. Ooh, thunder. The universe knows I'm famous. I asked her what she was doing and she goes, oh, I'm downloading this podcast to listen to on my bike home. And I said, oh, well, I was actually invited on a podcast. She's like, what about? And I said, oh, I was bored a couple nights ago and I made this video about my ex's failed engagement. Joke's on me though, he actually got married. And the video got like 500,000 views and now I have over 10,000 followers. And she's like, oh my God, Posey, like you need to capitalize on this. And I said, girl, don't I know it? And then I told my other coworker and I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I wasn't as good of a detective as I thought I was because the engagement actually didn't fail after all. And he was like, yeah, Posey, but look at the silver lining. Like now you have over 10,000 followers and you can capitalize on this breakup. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I've been
So this is the same woman who made the previous video, guys, and she got 10,000 followers apparently for posting a video about how her ex-boyfriend went and got engaged to another woman and then it didn't work out. But apparently in the end it actually did work out. But basically this woman got 10,000 followers for talking crap about her ex online, guys, and now she's super excited because she's famous when she has 10,000 followers. And let me just tell you something, guys, like, the people who walk around with the idea of like, oh, I need to be famous, or I'm so glad that I have so much attention, it's just a really strange idea to me, guys. It's just something incredibly narcissistic. You guys might have noticed that for the longest time, I actually turned the subscriber count off on my channel. Right? Not because the reason why I turned it off, guys, is because I didn't really see a need to be showing everybody like, oh, look how many followers I have, or look how many people are subscribed to the channel. I would still put the exact same amount of effort into the videos, whether I had 10 subscribers or like 180,000 or whatever we're at right now. And this girl's just like, her head's gotten so big from getting 10,000 followers on TikTok, literally just crap talking her ex. That's just something quite insane. But guys, let's jump into some of these comments here where dudes have replied to her story. So obviously the dudes have come in and they have a little bit of sense here. Tim here says, oh my God, your voice, he dodged a bullet. And Tim's comment here has 10.1 thousand likes. So you guys might be thinking to yourself, you know, Taylor, this is just some obscure video, hasn't really got many likes or comments. This video has 18.5 thousand comments on it. So it's not some small video where we have some girl who's just like made this video and it's really small or anything like that. This video literally has 48.5 thousand likes on it, 18.5 thousand comments, and it would probably have over 1 million views, although I can't see the view count at the moment. Just absolutely insane stuff right there. So let's take a look at some more of these comments. James here says personal experience isn't a universal experience. So he's trying to highlight the fact here, obviously, that this girl is going around saying that all men are bad because some men do terrible things, which is incredibly true here. And then you have a bunch of like girls saying crap like this. Look at this. Rosemary here with some dumbass plan emojis says, I'm sorry the replies are so toxic. You don't deserve that. Yeah, because misandry doesn't deserve critical comments, apparently. Haley here says, these comments, exclamation mark. So all the girls, right? All the girls here are crying about the dudes coming in with comments that have actually got a decent amount of likes on them, saying that he dodged a bullet or that her personal experience doesn't warrant her perspective on men. As you can see, we got a bunch of girls here. We got Emma here. I mean, what other name would you want? What the hell is up with these comments? And this is a comment that I quite like from King here, who says, so we got to say all women until women stop making false allegations. Mentally mountaineering has a cry. Blah, blah, blah. All the pressed men in the comments proving her point so hard right now, says Emily with a heart emoji and stars with 2 whole likes. You know, absolutely fantastic stuff here, guys. And, you know, we'll probably be covering more of this woman's videos because she has like a whole page of TikTok videos where she just makes herself look like an absolute clown. So we'll probably continue covering some of that. But I wanted to show you guys today's article that I was going to pull up. And this is just something that's so incredibly funny to me. It is titled, Here's how men are trying not to harass women after the hashtag #MeToo, and the answer is by ignoring them. So let me just fix this up real quick. So basically what's happened, guys, in the light of all the Me Too and the hashtag Me Too, excuse me, and all of the women coming out here saying that men are bad, men are harassing women, what a lot of men have turned around and done is actually said, look, I'm actually not interested in engaging with women at all. Like a lot of dudes are just straight up ignoring them or not opting to have one-on-one situations where things can, you know, allegations can be thrown around. So let's jump into this article here and take a listen. Last year, the hashtag #MeToo movement had stirred us all with hundreds and thousands of women sharing their horrifying stories about the A-word and harassment, enraging millions and offending a few. In case women folk were wondering if the hue and cry has brought about any change in the behavior of men towards us, the big answer is no, apparently. A year and an irrational counter-movement, not all men. I love how it's an irrational counter-movement, right? So when people come out here and they say things like, hey, listen, all men are this particular way, and then men come out and say, wait a minute, not all of us are terrible, the girls get butthurt and they call things like this an irrational counter-argument. It's literally the most rational thing you could possibly think of, but anyway. Later, men in general have taken 2 stands, one where they delegitimize the plight of women by saying that men too have suffered similar A-words and rendering our trauma obsolete, or by distancing themselves from possible quote-unquote allegations by saying not all men harm women, thus saving their own asses. Yeah, isn't it surprising, okay, that when you throw around a whole bunch of false allegations that men want to distance themselves from said allegations. I don't understand why this individual, actually I do understand, but you gotta love how she puts this in quotation marks. It's like, yes, men are concerned about allegations because these allegations, especially in the court of public opinion, literally ruin men's lives. In case you guys haven't noticed these days, which I'm sure you guys are most aware of, but dudes who get accused of questionable things, shall we say, their lives oftentimes get ruined, like because everyone considers them guilty before there's any proof that even comes up. And to say that like these allegations, these false allegations are not thrown around just because by a lot of women is really quite erroneous, I would say, guys. Like, yes, of course, there are serious allegations that turn out to be legitimate, but to say that all of them are legitimate is completely false. Let's keep going here. A new study shows that there now exists a third stand, possibly the most reached for among all tactics. Men have begun distancing themselves from women because they are now quote-unquote scared that any move they make towards us will label them as perpetrators. Yeah, correct. And normally, guys, when girls say things like, oh, men are intimidated or men are scared, I'll sit here and say things like, no, we're just not interested in talking to girls who are entitled or something to that effect, right? But yeah, dudes are actually quite scared of this, and dudes are quite intimidated by this because a man's life can be ruined by these things. Okay, any sensible dude, this is like saying, oh yeah, dudes are scared of fights that involve a high likelihood of being hurt. It's like, yes, absolutely, because anyone who's smart will understand that if you go into these situations, you're going to have a high likelihood of being harmed. Men are not interested in having these allegations thrown at them, especially for things that they didn't do. So it really is no surprise that men, at least sensible men, are somewhat concerned of having these allegations thrown around at them. Either way, the response from the Me Too solidifies the fact that men did not learn much from it, or rather nothing at all. We're not assuming any of this though. A survey by the University of Houston, USA proves it statistically. Wow, women know math too. Again, I don't know anyone who walks around saying that women don't know math. Like, these people just have no idea what they're talking about. The new study shows that instead of trying to become better human beings and treat their fellow female co-workers as equals, men have chosen to ignore them completely in their workplaces. This means 27% now avoid one-on-one meetings with female colleagues, 21% are hesitant to hire female subordinates, and 19% are hesitant to hire attractive women simply because they can't keep it in their pants. I believe this is what's called a straw man. Right, is where you just assume what the other person's argument is, right? Maybe the dudes actually don't want to hire these people or don't want to be alone with these people because they are concerned of these allegations being levied against them. Being fully aware of what constitutes harassment and how to prevent it, working professionals in urban setups now sit through anti-S3-actual harassment camps. Wow, that's fantastic. Counseling sessions and quizzes, yet they come out of them just as ignorant as they were before entering them. Yes, because what a fantastic way, you know, other than to imply that men need some sort of civilization process where you have to put them through in order to understand that bad things are bad. Right, this is why men distance themselves from a lot of these situations, guys, is because men are being told that by default, we're bad people. Okay, and when men say, hey, wait a minute, no, we're not, then all of a sudden these individuals get frustrated and mad at men. Absolutely amazing stuff here, guys. Like, truly amazing. Well, given that these stats are based on American respondents, we wonder what Indian men have to say about this. Checks the comments section for some misogynistic rants. Alok Nath will soon be in a movie playing the role of judge on a Me Too case, so we can only guess how much Indian men have learned from all of this. Yeah, this sounds a little bit, you're going a little bit into questionable waters there, my friend. But guys, before we wrap up today's episode, let's just continue on to today's Reddit story. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments to some of the things that we have covered here today thus far, but we're going to be having a bit of a change of pace as we jump into today's Reddit story. So let's take a look here. So we have a story written by an individual named Gluten-Free Crack Baby 5 hours ago, who says, my partner was staying the night at a guy's house she used to have bedroom fun relations with. Update. So this is a guy who he had a partner who decided that it was a good idea to stay at a previous partner's house, basically. And guys, this ties in kind of nicely to these stories, okay? Where it's like men are just supposed to put up with crap, and it's just, why would men put up with these things? I don't quite understand it. Like, if you as a guy don't put up with disrespect, you get called insecure. If you as a guy don't put up with being called a bad person, then you get labeled a double bad person and part of the problem. See the first TikTok. But let's jump into this story here. This guy says, so it's been like 5 days since this happened. You can see my original post in my post history. I broke up with her, good man. When I confronted her, she kept minimizing and deflecting it and said that they'd been friends for years and she always used to stay there and it didn't mean anything. The friend group also said that I crossed a line by messaging the guy's girlfriend. She mentioned in retrospect that she understood she broke my boundaries and that she was sorry. This to me didn't really feel sincere though. Yeah, no kidding. She was staying with a dude that she'd had bedroom fun with before. Anyway, we spoke about the lease and living situation, and she said that she will now move out in about 3 weeks. I called her mother, and she was very sweet and said I could stay on the lease until it ends. 3 years. I pay very little rent. It's an amazing deal. My ex currently doesn't work, so who knows how long it will really take her to move out. I'm currently living at a mate's and I don't feel I can stay there for much longer. He's very loud in the early mornings. My only other option is to move back home even though my ex is there. We have separate rooms but the same bedroom. I have a feeling that she will drag this out for a while, so I'm stuck in some weird limbo. I can't stay at my mate's for much longer and don't have anywhere else to go realistically. I need to find ways to live with her while she moves out. Honestly, just see what you can do to get her kicked out immediately. And guys, this is what I'm talking about. These stories are just so absolutely disgusting, because what's really happening is anytime a guy decides to speak up or speak his mind or talk about the concerns that he has, he gets labeled as an a-hole, some variant of a bigot, and basically told that he has no business in the court of public opinion. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our other content creators, Hadan from Peace of Mind and Detective Warg. Their channels, as always, will be linked in the video description. And guys, make sure that you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.